Hi guys, this is Hero. How's everyone doing today? Ajabala Kimcho. Ajsab Keseho. So today I'm going to be discussing the top ways to break out of certain mental and spiritual habits. Okay, the main reason for this is because there's two things. There's a direct reason and an indirect reason. So the direct reason is that when you when you do certain things to expand your brain or things like that, you in other areas where you don't even notice you have certain unhealthy mental or spiritual habits, you're more aware and exposed and even subconsciously sometimes breaking out of those, which is the main goal, I think. But indirectly also is that a lot of us feel with our certain mental and spiritual ingrained habits, we feel unfulfilled because we're in such a tight, rigid routine up here. And what happens is we tend to build up that desire to break out of that, and then we just lash out. Okay, but then when you lash out, what comes easy doesn't last. Okay, so when you lash out, you tend to just eventually revert back to your old um, self. For example, like people lash out with like drugs or like other things, like some crazy relationship, or they'll get some like crazy tattoo. I'm not saying all tattoos are crazy, but like they'll do crazy things and then they'll kind of just revert back to them old self. So the things I'm going to describe to you here are just more healthier ways to expand your mental, so that one, it's a little bit more long term and you feel a little bit more fulfilled. But secondly, as you expand your mind, brain, spiritually, all this kind of stuff, subconsciously it will bleed into all the areas of your life, and hopefully everything will just improve. Okay, so um yeah, I'll just go ahead and get started. So, oh, one other thing. So you'll notice, let's just say someone for a year does whatever they do and they lash out, let's just say once or twice, versus someone who for a year does some of the things that I'm about to say just a little bit every day. Nothing crazy, but just a little bit of these things every day. After 1 year of each of them, the second one, they'll be like, wow, I feel like, a real changed person. Like, I feel like I really, felt free and explored, got to know myself a lot better than the first person. Okay. So some of these things on a list include learning a new language, learning a new instrument, cooking, doing some type of new exercise, like gardening or farming or anything like that. I'll just start with these. Okay. So you'll notice everything on this list, especially the first few, it's not like an overnight thing. Learning a language is not an overnight thing. Learning an instrument is not an overnight thing. Okay. Even exercising, breaking out and learning a new type of exercise or sport or something like that is not an overnight thing. It takes a while to expand your skills and achieve a level of mastery, or a level of like at least intermediate level. Okay. So some type of daily dedicated routine and practice is required. And whenever you do that, your brain will expand. For example, learning a new language. So a lot of us subconsciously, we tend to view the world in the native language that we speak. Okay, like that's a table, that's a pillow, whatever. Okay, that's a car. There's obviously no car in the room, but we tend to view the world. When you learn another language, you tend to expand your brain. You tend to think and look at things in a way that no one else has ever done. Like, I personally speak multiple languages, so I notice, like, from someone who just speaks English or from someone who just speaks some Indian language, I look at the world a little bit differently. Okay, so I'd strongly recommend that you learn another language. Now, learning another language, it's not something that you can that I would let me rephrase. Learning a language, I'd pick something that you not only have an interest in, but that also you have someone to practice with. Okay. For example, right when I started this YouTube video, I got a new job. Okay. Now, a lot of you guys on this YouTube channel speak Hindi, and a lot of like, you guys talk to me in Hindi, and my colleagues at work, the team I lead, they are all in India, okay, and they all speak in Hindi. So before, like, sometime last year, I didn't know no Hindi, okay. Now, I never grew up watching Bollywood movies and things like that. And whenever I'd go to India, I'd go to Gujarat, and I know Gujarati. So it wasn't really a problem. But now, over the last year, I'm like, you know what? This would be kind of cool to learn. And I've seen how my brain has expanded even more. Okay. At this very same time, coincidentally, or non-coincidentally for some of my more spiritually and karmically aware people, I started learning Spanish. Okay. I live in South Florida, so there's a lot of Spanish people here. I already knew Spanish pretty well in high school, but like I kind of lost it. Now, recently, like right when I got the job, I joined a gym, and there's a lot of Spanish people there. They're always talking Spanish. It's been bothering me that, I feel like I could have used to understand what they're saying, and now I don't. So that's kind of that. So I'm giving you kind of two examples of something I've done. Okay, like Hindi and Spanish. Like I've been kind of elevating my skills, but I had the interest and I had people like to practice with. But you guys can figure this out however you want. But I'd strongly encourage you guys to take the step. Same thing with an instrument. For me, tabla, I've known for like 15 years. But my tabla now is not as good as it was like throughout middle school or high school, okay? Because I obviously don't practice as much. But throughout the past year, I've been trying to play as much as I can and get my skills back to like expert mastery level, okay? I've been trying to like play at my tempo as much as possible and things like that. Same thing with exercise. I challenge myself through different things. Yeah, sure, I have my stable gym routine to, for that goal, but I try to do as many other things as possible. Like a couple months ago, I went on a hiking trip with one of my friends, and we hiked quite a bit throughout the whole week. I think it was like over 50 miles, okay? So that was like a challenge, okay? Now, so these are just some things that you can do to healthily break out of your mental habits, okay? And it can even be something small at the beginning, right? Like you don't have to necessarily like jump right in. Like if you want to play piano, you don't have to like, be playing like some crazy musician like after a month. Okay, you can just start dabbling with the keyboard. Same thing with exercise. You can just start taking walks in your neighborhood if you're not really used to exercise or something like that. Or like let's just say even cooking is an example, okay? You don't have to become like master chef, okay? You can start off with like basic meals, but you'll notice your mind will expand. You'll be like, oh, next time let me do this. Let me put the salt before the oil, or the oil before the salt. Whatever you want to do, your brain will expand. When your brain expands, it tends to subconsciously bleed into other areas of your life, and you'll break out into other habits. Maybe with relationships, because of that expansion that's already kind of occurring in your brain, you'll be like, oh, maybe we should, with my kids, I should do kind of like this, or with my spouse, I should kind of do this, or my brother, my whatever, I should kind of do like that, okay? And then also, like I said, you'll feel more fulfilled throughout this process, so you'll feel actually a lot more like free and getting to know yourself a lot better. You won't, have to do these kind of crazy things and then, kind of feel a little bit lost and confused afterwards, even sometimes, or even, crave it kind of, or like look forward to the next time that crazy experience happens, and then usually sometimes maybe even regret afterwards, and you'll regret afterwards, but you still do it because you can't help yourself, okay? So I think you guys can get the point of this video. But like I said, as usual, if you have any comments or questions, you feel free to let me know. And until next time, I'll talk to everyone later. Thank you guys so much for watching.